In this video, we're going to go over our August payments towards our student loan debt. And by our, I'm talking about my husband and myself. I have student loans and my husband also has student loans. And so we're just going to track in our student loan planner all the payments that we have made thus far, how much has gone to the principal and how much has gone to interest. Boo. If you don't know, every Sunday on paperbymode.com, I post a brand new blog talking about all things finance. So make sure you go to paperbymode.com to go check those out. Also, if you want to specifically look out different titles, you can look below and I have the titles and the link that you can click. And so if you're on your financial freedom journey, like I'm on my financial freedom journey, and you like watching videos about paying off your student loan debt, about cash stuffing, sinking funds, paychecks, all the things, and you haven't already, make sure you join the community by clicking that subscribe button and stay tuned. So if you don't know, when I do my paycheck budget for my husband and myself and I record and show it to you all, I divvy out a certain amount of money to go towards my student loans and or sometimes to go to my husband's student loans. So these is what we're going to go over when we're actually going over this student loans. So this planner right here is something that I made back in 2020, the early 2020, because I got out of college and I got out of grad school and I knew that I was going to have to pay my student loans back. Now, lo and behold, your girl did not know about COVID and that was going to happen. And I didn't have to per se pay my student loans for a while. But here we are, it's 2025, still got loans, good payments, at least a good amount has been paid off, and here we go. Okay, so this is a student loan planner. This is not for sale. This is just something that I made for myself, and it's just regular paper that I went ahead and created on Canva. I get this question all the time, and this binding I got done at Staples, and maybe it was $2 or $3. Okay, so we have student loan planner. So I started off with $107,683.18. Now, the goal and the purpose of this planner was just to trivialize it, right? Every time I saw my student loans, I cried. I was just ridiculous. I was just a mess, okay? Because it made me so insecure. Like I was just, oh my gosh, I owe these people all this money. It was ridiculous. So I saw somebody else do it. I can't even give the creator their props because I do not even remember. But I remember seeing that somebody else was like, you know what, I'm just going to name my student loan a different name and it's going to be, it's going to trivialize it. It's going to make it seem easy and small and minute to me. And I said, you know what, that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to rename all my student loans in a name that trivializes it, make it a little bit more minute. And I created a planner because your girl had so many student loans. Now, also, my student loans are consolidated, but what you see here are the actual loans before they were consolidated, okay? And all the loans are in order from least to greatest. For mine, my husband, he only had 2. He currently only has 1. What other questions have I not answered? And I do them all in different colors. Okay, I think I got everything out of the way. So the first student loan, I named it Jerry. It was $552. He is paid. Stuart Little, paid. Hello Kitty, paid. Remy the Rat, paid. Daffy Duck, paid. Now, this specific color right here, this is a darker green. This, I got a loan forgiveness from my previous job that I had, right? I had to work there a couple years, and they gave me $10,000 before tax, and after tax it ended up being about $8,000 and some change. I usually try to create some post that I put up saying like how much I paid towards my student loan debt and how much my job had assisted me with my student loan debt. But anyways, it's about $8,000. So this one right here is going to signify all the money that my previous job, gave me or gave my student loans, because they didn't hand it to me. They handed it directly to my student loans. Okay. Donald Duck paid, and that's from that job assistance. Bugs Bunny paid, job assistance. Garfield paid, job assistance. And then Winnie the Pooh, it paid a little bit for the job assistance. However, I ended up paying it off myself. That job assistance I received in 2022. I just stopped working for that job in 2025, February. Wait, January, February, March. I'm lying, March. So I gave them my 2 23, 24. Yeah, I gave them like my 2 or whatever years that I had to give them. That was the commitment to get about the 10,000. And here we are. Okay, so Winnie the Pooh, it got paid off in November. Not November. That's where I saw November. In June of 2023. Kung Fu Panda paid off 2023. Mickey Mouse paid off in 2023. Minnie Mouse paid off 2024. Don Leno paid off. Now, as you can see, the numbers are getting bigger. So Minnie and Mickey are the same amount, 5,500, 5,500. Don Leno, 8,458. And woo, we are on Angry Bird, okay? I have been making so many payments on this. Some of them have been really small that I had to actually turn the page over and do it again on the back. Fingers crossed, I'm hoping that the balance here says 287. So 0825, because I was like, what is this number? Yeah, but $287.15. So we're definitely going to end up having this paid off. I'm super duper excited because, as you can see, we've been paying this off since 2024. Angry Bird. Now, we've been paying off Angry Bird since 2024 because it's $10,331, number one. Number two, my husband lost his job in October of last year. So this was what, September? No, this was August. Oh my gosh, it's August now. So we have been paying on Angry Bird for a whole year. And between that time, life events, life changes. This is why it's just like student loans and paying off debt. It's just a roller coaster. You don't know when, how, where, and why. But I'm excited because this means that we're going to be paying this off. This is going to have a stamp approval of paid. Now, this was in black and that one was in red. So what color should we do next? I feel like green, but blue was already. I'm feeling green. I don't know why, but I'm feeling green, guys. And then I'm going to put this right here because this is black, and I want to go ahead and put paid. So let's just get into it. So for the month of August, for my student loans, I did 4 payments, but my first payment is going to cover the whole balance of $287.15. Actually, the first payment was $561. But the thing about it is, yeah, it was $561, but we want the difference to be $287. So I'm just going to go ahead and subtract the interest, which was $142.60. Am I right? Yep. Interest $142.60. Okay, so that's actually $418.40, which means that this is going to cover this. But I'm trying to think how I'm going to do it. What we will do, I want to split that payment and then put the rest of the payment to SCAR because that's also $10,603, which is just a little bit more than the Angry Bird $10,331. So let's see. The date on here, we'll just write the date to start. The date on here is 08. It's the 6th and then 2025. So you know what I'm going to do, what I'm thinking about, guys? I think I'm just going to put the amount, for 1840. I have no idea. So let's do 561 and let's minus 287.15. So let's do 273.85. You're thinking, well, what are you doing? And I'm just going to put no interest, 273.85. And then what we're going to do, the difference is going to be 273.85. So we're going to take, oh geez, we're saying we owe $56,000. This is how I know my numbers are not right, guys, because we're definitely under 56,000. But I'll show you. I will go ahead and put a screen capture so you guys can see the actual number. Okay, so we're gonna say $56,492.94. Sometimes it's hard to keep up with stuff when you have it on paper. I know people like to do Excel, and I love that for you guys. I feel like I work at a computer all day, every day. It just helps me personally just to write it. It's just what I prefer to do. So $56,492.94, and then we're gonna subtract 273.85. So we're going to say we have 56,219. So this is where we are now. 56,000 to 1909. Okay. Now everything I'm going to go ahead and put right here. Paid. Woo! I'm so excited. I'm so. It's been so long. It's literally been a year since I started the Angry Bird, and the last time we paid off something was a year ago, or a little over a year ago, August 2024 with Don Leno. That was $8,400. So little wins everywhere, darling. Little wins everywhere. Okay, so now we're going to start with SCAR. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and go back to date. We're going to put 08/06/25. Now, the first payment was $561. Okay, we went ahead and did $273.85 minus $273.85. So we're going to say $287.15. Okay, amount $287.15. And now that's irrelevant now. Okay, now we're going to go to our interest, and that was $142.60. $142.60. So minus $142.60. We didn't do any interest for that last one, which is why we're doing it all here. So the difference is going to be $144.55. So I'm put difference, but really it's just principal, right? This column is the principal. $144.55. So we said we had 56 to 19. 56 to 19.09, and then we're going to subtract 144.55. So that is 56,000. Okay, $56,074.54. Okay, now that's the first payment. So the second payment, 08, and this is on the 21st, 2025. Now this amount was actually $1,000 that we went ahead and put towards my student loans. Now the interest, okay, was 100. I think it was 100. Am I tripping? Yeah, it was $132.67. Okay, 132.67. So minus 132.67. That is $867.33. That's the difference. That's what went to the principal, $867.33. So now we're gonna do $56,074.54, and we're gonna subtract $867.33. So now we're saying we're at $55,207. Okay, $55,207.21. All right, now the third payment, I think, am I tripping? Oh, this is the 8. Okay, yeah, because for the month of August we did get paid 3 times. Yes, we got paid 3 times, which was the last payment for the year 2025 that we get 3 checks. We only get 2 payments a year, that my husband and I, because we are paid bi-weekly. We're not just paid twice a month. Some people say it's the same thing. It's not, because sometimes there are some months where we get 3 paychecks. So August was that time where we got 3 paychecks. So this came from the first paycheck. This came from the second paycheck. Now this third amount, it ended up being $337.63. It's a very specific amount, $337.63. So 2 things that came from this. This was our payment to my student loans, which is $197, and then the other amount was from YouTube. So $337.63 minus $197. $140.63 is how much I got paid from YouTube. Thank you guys so much for watching. I really appreciate you. When you watch the ads, that's how money comes in, things like that. So I got $140.63 from YouTube, and then my actual payment of $197. You're probably thinking, why didn't you do it on the first payment? I just didn't. I saw the extra, that $287.15 was actually what we put aside, like not in our bills, but when we put to debt payment. And so that's what I put towards it. And then that second one was what we put towards debt payment. And I was like, oh my gosh, I didn't actually pay the bill, the $197. And then I was like, oh, and then YouTube. So I added the money together. $337.63 is what we had. Now, $337.63. So the interest ended up being $60.94. It sucks. My interest is high. It's about 5%. My husband's interest is less than mine, but he also owes less. So the less you owe, the less interest. Obviously, the less interest you're going to accrue. So this was $60.94 when it came to interest. So we're going to take 337.63 and we're going to subtract $60.94. So we actually paid $276.69. I hate saying that because all of that came out of our checking account. It's just, this is what went down. So now we got $55,207.21 minus $276.69. All right. Now it's saying we owe $54,930.52. All right. And the last payment, it didn't hit until September, but we're putting it in green still. Jeez Louise. And this is how we ended up getting on the back, because it's already $10,000. Okay. Now the difference here is it's over 1,000, but we still got about 9,000 to go. Okay. So on the 4th of September, we ended up putting $500. And then the interest on this ended up being $60 again. It was just $60.63. So we got 500 minus 60.63. So the difference here is $439.37. Okay, so we're going to take $54,930.52 and subtract $439.37. Okay, so it's $54,491.15. And for whatever reason, we are about $1,000 off. I do not know why, but that is what we are right now. So I'm excited for this. I'm grateful for being able to have money to come in. So we do have to get more serious with paying my husband's student loans because his is gaining interest now. It's not as much as mine, but it's still interest, and we don't like that. I'm adding up exactly how much we put towards the payment. So 1,000 plus 287.15, okay, plus 337.63, okay, plus 500. So my student loans, we put $2,124.78. I'm gonna write that to the side. $2,124.78. Okay, not bad. Now we're gonna go and we're gonna move on to my husband's student loans. And so we have on paper. We don't have an actual book for his. He doesn't have so many loans that we had to have a book. So he had a Grinch, which was paid. It was $2,999.46. Now he has Popeye. Okay, which is crazy because we're gonna have to go on the back on this too. I don't know what I was thinking when I created this. Like, dang, girl, you're gonna need more space. But what we're gonna do is we're gonna go on the back. Okay, so what you don't do, you just correct and you fix. Okay, so I went ahead and just created like a chart on the back, just because, you know, we gotta get through this. And I want to be able to write this. Now, the last time we actually made a payment was June. So, okay, so we're gonna go ahead. I'm gonna use the last one, although we've had green already, but it is what it is. So we did 2 payments for my husband. We didn't do 4 like we did for mine. I know you're thinking it's not fair, but it's just something we agreed on just because I owe more and we're paying way more interest on mine. That's all it is, guys. Okay. So the first thing is August. It's going to be the 10th and it's $20.25. So the total payment we did here was $561. Wow. Are we, girl, you got to go get you some new pens. I swear I feel like I'm saying that all the time. I even say it at work. I need to get me some new pens. Okay. So it's going to be $561. Now the interest, Chile. Look at all this time where he didn't have any interest. So the interest on this ended up being $25.45. $25.45. So what we're going to do, we're going to take 561. We're going to minus $25.45. And now he has $535.55. So the difference here is $535.55. And this is the one, the numbers are going to be wrong because we talked about this. He had an issue with his account. he talked to Advantage to try to get it situated. They basically was like, you're lying. You don't have any proof. You don't have any screenshots. So you guys know what I'm doing now? They basically said that he was owing more than what we knew he was owing. And they said, and I was telling my husband, go ahead and make a complaint. He did make a complaint. He typed it in the portal. Somebody advised that he do that actually here on YouTube. So thank you for that. But they basically was like, oh, well, what we're going to do is we're going to send you some paperwork, and then we're going to call you, send them paperwork, and then call them. They're like, yeah, you're lying. If you don't have the actual proof and the date that you screenshotted and how you got to that amount after which payment, we're not going to do it. So the numbers are going to be different because we can't really fight it. It's their word against ours, and we don't have any proof about it. And so I'm going to go ahead and put in a screenshot of the actual amount, and I'm going to put the actual amount so you guys can see it. Okay. And then we're going to go to the back, and I'm going to do the total amount at the end just because it makes it a little easier, because I don't know how else to explain this and why the math don't actually math. Okay. Anyways, so that's that. I'm gonna go back over, but I gotta make it make sense to me in my head, y'all. Okay, so remember we got paid 3 times, so this time it actually hit on the 4th, and the amount was $260. Now we actually was supposed to do like $259 and some change, but we just rounded it up. I know what you're thinking, guys. You're like, what? Doesn't make sense. Okay, so $30. So that means I don't have to do the math. So that means the remaining, or the difference, is actually going to be $230. Now, what we know that's here, coming back to this, the total after this payment my husband actually owed was $20,201.04. I know what you're thinking. 201.04, girl, that don't make sense. And like I said, they actually said my husband's balance was higher than this. It was $20,006 something or 7. It was crazy. But like I said, we try to argue. What are we gonna do? We're going back and forth. Honestly, these loan people are scammers. And so from moving onward and upward, y'all, I take so many screenshots. Okay, I take so many screenshots because this is unacceptable. Anyways, so that's $20,201.04. And so now we're going to say $20,201.04, and we're going to subtract $230. That's going to be $19,971.04. Hopefully that number is correct. I don't have time for them to come back. Now, what might be incorrect is the interest. My husband told me that he got an email about the interest, but I can't find the actual interest on the site. This is why I'm saying Advantage, y'all do the most. And I know some people say, oh my God, I got Advantage, I don't have any problems. And I love that for y'all. And I pray that y'all do not have problems, but we are having them. We are having them. Okay. So we're putting $19,971.04. This is really good. He is under that 20,000 threshold. Love that for him. When it comes to mine and the progress on mine, we are in the 53,000s. So it's really soon and short. We will be getting to 50,000. We only have September, October, November, December. So we got 4 months. And I know you guys know, if you don't know, I am ambitious sometimes with the goals. I don't want to do too much because there's so much more money that my husband and I want to save, So sometimes I do a little jazzy shazzy. Okay, so if it's 19,000 in my mind, the first number I'm thinking, like, the goal for the rest of the year will be 15,000. But that means you got to pay off almost $5,000 for my husband's student loans. And then in mine, my goal would be to get to 50,000, but that means we have to pay off, well, according to this, it would be almost $5,000. But like I told you guys, this number is a little wrong, but wrong in a good way, because we owe $1,000 less. So that's not a bad way to be wrong. So that would be almost 4,000. So if we do, that's about $9,000 that we would have to pay off for the rest of the year. And again, we got September, October, November, December. So that's 2, 4, 6, 8. We have 8 checks left. And even if we do 8 checks, and if we do $1,000 a check, we still wouldn't get it because it's 8,000. 1 and 2, we have interest. So, and I just think about it. I'm just like, what can we do? Maybe not 15 for my husband, maybe 16. So 19,971, and let's minus 16,000. Okay, that's 4,000. And then I really want to get to 50,000, but what about 51,000 from 50? It's literally 53,500. Okay, so 53,500, 52,500, 51,500. So it would be $2,500. So it'll be 6,500. So that's a little easier. So I don't know. The ultimate goal would be 15,000 that my husband owes on his student loans and 50,000 that I owe. Still a lot for me. 50,000 is still ridiculous for student loans. For some people, that's all student loans that they owe, which is crazy because when I looked at my student loans, I really only took out like 50 something thousand, and the goal, not the goal, but the total ended up being $107,683.18. So don't be like me, guys. Do not be like me. But I'm super duper duper excited. We have one student loan that's actually paid off for me, and it took over a year. So a little bit of progress is always progress. And so now we're going to go ahead and look at our debt coloring sheet. Okay, so this right here is our debt-free coloring sheet. Trying to keep up with all the numbers. I made this a couple years ago. Boy, I tell you, we start off with $121,732.47 of debt. Now, this debt includes our student loans. It also includes my husband's car loan. I don't think this included my car or my credit cards because when we did this, it was already paid off. Okay, so and my husband's car loan, he had bought a used. He maybe owed $2,000-3,000. That's already paid off. So what we have now is the debt that we have now. What we have put forth for him paying for his student, us paying for his student loans and us paying for my student loans. The balance we have put together for the month of August is $2,945.78. It's pretty dang good, might I tell you guys. So $2,945.78. Now, there should be 50 lines in this, but I don't want to lie to you. So let me see. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, 27, 28, 29, 31, 32, 33, 34, 35, 36, 37, 38. Okay, yeah, like I said, 50. You're like, girl, I know you're not gonna count, and I did. I had to count. I just wanted to make sure. Okay. So we said there was $2,945.78, which is really good. So proud of our progress. That doesn't mean our student loans went down $2,945.78. So I went ahead and wrote that on the side. What we're gonna do is press 121,732.47. We're gonna divide that by 50. So that's $2,400. So we're over that line, but we have a little bit of this line right here left. So what we're going to do, I'm going to go ahead and do it in orange. I like to do it in different colors. I probably should have did it in green because I wrote it in green, but you see that green right there? It's not going to work. So what we're going to do is we're going to write $2,945.78. Okay. $2,945.78. And then we're going to do a little coloring in, okay? Not too much, but not too little either, okay? So we're going to take it from this line and then that overage. It's supposed to be $2,400. It's probably a little bit more than the overage, but this is supposed to be $2,400 and this was $2,100, which is why we didn't color it all the way. So we're just going to go ahead. I know you're thinking, girl, do a straight line. And I'm gonna say not too much on me, y'all, okay? I'm doing what I can. I will be so excited when this thing is eventually colored all in. Ooh, girl, are you coloring hard or what? She is shaking the table. I'm proud of the progress we have, but boy, when I say this journey is a journey, and as somebody who likes to get stuff over with quick and my patience are low and lacking, this has put me through the ringer. Even just seeing that Angry Bird for my student loans, how it's been over a year since we started paying it and it's just not getting paid off. It will try you, okay? It will try you. So this is what we paid for the month of August, and that's what I'm gonna put right here. Let's say August 25. So pretty darn good, guys. I wish I did not put a hole in this, and so I could have saw that like amount, and then I would have added them all up, but I don't even got time. We started this in 2023. That's when we started doing the first payments. Now I wasn't consistent with it every month, but that's okay because we're doing something, okay? We're doing something. All right, so now that we have everything colored in, now we're also going to go ahead and go to our debt reduction calculator. I love talking about this. And basically, the debt reduction calculator is from Vertex 42. They do not sponsor me, but if you want to, go ahead. And the website basically just does free printables about different variations of numbers, guys, okay? You can do your debt reduction calculator. You can how much to own a house, how much to save, a whole bunch of different Excel sheets that is free and available for you guys to download. Now, I don't know if it's secure and if you're going to get some mess up with your computer. I'm just letting you know it's free and it's out there. So, Vertex 42. So, this is from last month. So, I put balance date 8/1, August 1, and this is what we owed. Okay, we owed $76,119. And this was at the time our payments, it was $196.19 because I owed, right? And my husband did not. Now my husband now has a balance. Now I always give the student loans of $197 as the basic payment. It's not, it's $196.19, but that's whatever. Now I put one for $2,000, one for $3,000. So a monthly payment of $2,000. The snowball would end up being $1,803.81. With this, it was saying we were going to pay it off in March 2029, but our total interest that we were going to pay was $8,325. So, okay, that was basically that. That sucks, but March 2029. This was again moving along to September because, girl, what were we looking at here? So, let me show you guys the $2,000 one first, and then we'll do. So this is $2,000 Avalanche. This is $2,000 Snowball, and this is $3,000 Avalanche. Okay. So $2,000 Avalanche. Avalanche basically saying, hey, we're going to pay the highest interest first. Right now, what we currently owe is $73,409. But my husband now has a payment, and this is what I was saying before. Now I put the 1st of September. We know it's not the 1st of September, but I'm just putting the 1st of September just to put it because this was the August payments. And yes, one did hit in September, but here we are. Okay, here we are. Now we owe $446.19. Now this is saying, hey, if you do your $2,000, the initial snowball now is $1,500. Our snowball went down because my husband now has a amount due, a payment amount. So this one is saying, hey, February 2029. Now this is for Avalanche. Now if we do again, and that's going to be $7,710 in interest. Now if we do $2,000 in a snowball, nothing is going to change. And I think that is so strange because I feel like numbers should change. But here we are. But what has changed is the due date. Okay, January 20. This has put on another month for us. So this is June, guys. This is not even the one for August. This is one for June, and it still says that we're not doing too well. Okay. Anyways, I was trying to show you guys in the one to August, but the one in August also said, hey, we're gonna be able to pay it off in January 2029. That sucks, but here we are. So this is if we did $2,000. Now let's move along to the $3,000. Now, if we do $3,000, the extra $1,000 a month, granted, our snowball is going to go up. We still owe almost $500 a month towards our student loan debt. This is putting us up 2 years almost. Not really. Actually, that's kind of a lie because February 2029, 2 years would be February 2027. But it's still 2020 freaking 7. Isn't that a hoot? That is just crazy. So here we are. This is what we're saying that we would be able to pay off if we do $3,000. Now, we're not really a 3,000 a month type of couple when it comes to our debt right now anymore, because we have other goals. We're about the 2,000, but we're a little in between 2,000 and 3,000. Like when it comes to the month of August, we actually almost did 3,000, but and then what month was this? 4,000. That was May. I mean, wow. We were ambitious. But it goes up and it goes down with us. Hell, even in August 2024, we paid 5,000, but we don't do that often. And so I just try to look at it and see what the numbers are. But the moral of the story is we are playing the long game here. Okay. We're playing the long game. It is just so depressing and it's just a lot. But here we are. This is the update for our numbers for the month of August. We currently owe a little over $73,000. Now our monthly payments, we're gonna round it up. It's about $450 as opposed to being $197, which was just mean. Life changes. What do? You pay your bills and you move on and you make a video about it. So again, we're over a little over $73,000 that we owe collectively, and we owe $450 a month. And according to this, that's if we do $3,000, we will be able to pay off our student loans between 2027 and 2029. Now it's almost the last quarter in 2025, so we're close. We're closer than what we were before. So I'm really, really, really not mad at that. Something my husband and I definitely talk about a lot is how much more debt do we want to get paid down before we try to own a property? Debt is stressful. And I see a lot of people saying, oh, paying off my house because that's the only debt I have. This means that we would add another debt, and we wouldn't just have a house debt. We will also have student loan debt. So we talk about this constantly. We don't know what we want to do. Okay, we're just putting one foot in front of the other and trying to figure it out as we go. But I hope you guys enjoy this video. Make sure you like, comment, and subscribe, and I will see you in the next one. Bye.